In this video, we're going to check out MIDI tempo detection, which is an awesome new feature that lets us create more expressive music. In this first example, we're going to take a look at MIDI tempo detection. You may be asking yourself why you would need to detect the tempo of a MIDI performance, since typically we record them to a click track in order to assist us with editing or using other features which depend on our project grid, like quantization. Typically, when editing or quantizing, we take MIDI parts and events and move them around so that they align to our grid. But in some cases, this can destroy not only the performance of the song, but also the feel or expression of the song. And these minor tempo fluctuations that we have are really what gives the human element to our music. So we could manually program complex tempo tracks to try to bring in a human element, but this could put a lot of pressure on your performer having to follow rigid tempo changes. We could also just try to record their performance without a click track and go through the laborious task of having to manually create a warp grid to match that musical material. With MIDI tempo detection, all of this work can be done automatically. And the first step is just to record a MIDI performance without even using a click track. And in order for it to work properly, you want to make sure that you have at least 7 seconds of material recorded or more. The longer the recording, the more accurate the MIDI tempo detection is. Now, if we were to enable our click track, you can see that this performance doesn't even come close to matching the click. So our next step to match the click track is to select the MIDI event that you recorded. Then come up to your project menu and choose Tempo Detection. Then click on the Analyze button. You can see that Cubase automatically created a tempo track, inserted all of our tempo changes for us, and aligned our grid to the MIDI performance. And it was able to catch all of those subtle tempo changes within our performance. Within the tempo detection panel, we also have several tools available to us which help us to further modify the tempo detection. For instance, if we choose Divide by 2, it will half the tempo that was originally detected. And you could hear that it successfully halved our tempo, but now our performance is slightly offbeat. And here we can use our offbeat correction. MIDI tempo detection works very well, especially for straightforward performances. But what if we have a more expressive performance where tempo changes are even less subtle? Okay, so now that we've captured our performance, we'll come back up to Project, come down to Tempo Detection again, and we'll click on Analyze. So we know that this first note is supposed to land on beat 1, but for some reason, Cubase didn't think that that was the first beat of the song. Now if we start playback, we'll hear that the click is a little bit off. And this happened because there's a lot of accents that are going on the offbeats. So tempo detection thinks that some of those accented offbeats are representing downbeats. Since our accented offbeats have a 3/4 feel, we can multiply the detection by 3/4 to correct for this. The next thing that you want to make sure of is that the bar that's closest to the downbeat of your song lines up to that downbeat. And this is where the buttons down below come in handy. If we realign the first bar of our project to the downbeat of our performance, tempo detection will reanalyze the performance for any bars that come after corrected bars. So we can left click and drag this bar to the first beat of the performance, and the rest of the grid will adjust itself automatically. And once our grid matches our performance, we can edit parts and new recordings much easier, and when using Quantize, we can ensure that any new recordings made properly quantize to our grid. And now the really cool part is if you use any musical time-based media, such as MIDI loops, groove agent patterns, or even audio loops, they will now adhere to your project tempo and match this performance. So we'll just go ahead and bring in an audio loop here, and then we'll listen to playback. Alright guys, so stay tuned, and in the next video, we'll be checking out the new chord pads feature.